Thank goodness you're here. I, Sam Valentino, private toon detective, want to share some more findings I have, found about the impending dividing of Warner Bros. Discovery into two separate companies. You may recall me mentioning that one half, known as the streaming and studios half, will get the Warner Bros. Studios and Library, DC Comics, HBO, New Line Cinema, TNT Sports International, and HBO Max. The other half, covering global networks, will get not just the Discovery Channel and its related spin-offs like the Learning Channel, Animal Planet, HTV, etc., along with the Discovery Plus streaming service, but they're also getting the networks Warner owned prior to the merger, including CNN, TNT, TBS, the domestic TNT Sports, Cartoon Network and Boomerang, and Turner Classic Movies. These halves have now had their official names designated. The streaming and studios company forming for the split will carry the Warner Brothers name, which isn't too surprising since they'll be getting the Warner Brothers Studios and Library, and the other company will be called Discovery Global. So in a way, it'll be similar to before this disastrous merger, but with the latter company not called Discovery Communications anymore. Though Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, along with Boomerang and Turner Classic Movies, now being part of Discovery Global, they'll have to pay licensing to air the content from Warner Bros. Already airing on those channels. In hindsight, this is similar to after Disney bought 20th Century Fox from News Corp at the end of the last decade. News Corp still has Fox Broadcasting, but the Fox Television Animation Studio is now owned by Disney and called 20th Television Animation, where they produce The Simpsons and Futurama and Family Guy and American Dad. And since Fox is still known for airing and milking those shows, along with Bob's Burgers from Bento Box Entertainment, they pay licenses to run those programs from Disney, even if the ratings are pretty lousy nowadays. So I'd imagine this will also be the case for Cartoon Network and Turner Classic Movies and such, though the Adult Swim lineup also includes the Fox animated shows aside from The Simpsons, so there's already one licensing deal in place. And unfortunately with this split, that corrupt CEO David Zaslav will be staying with the Warner Brothers side. But from what I've gathered, he's supposed to remain in that position until late 2027, according to his contract. So as long as he doesn't make any more stupid decisions, we should be fine until then. By that point, it'll also been nearly a year and a half since the merger split happened, since it's now been announced to be happening in mid-2026. And for Looney Tunes fans, that summer's going to be epic, because not only will the split happen then, but Ketchup Entertainment will be releasing Coyote vs. ACME to theaters then. It's now slated for an August 28th, 2026 release date, at a really fun panel that happened at San Diego Comic-Con this past weekend. Even Wile E. Coyote himself got to appear. And they even did a fun publicity stunt with the ACME Corporation trying to halt the panel in the movie, clearly as an analogy for David Zaslav and Warner Bros. Discovery initially shelving the movie as a tax write-off in November 2023. Pretty clever, huh? Of course, they wouldn't let me speak out loud at the panel, and I can tell you don't expect to hear my voice in the movie either. That's fine, Wile E, old chum, since everyone usually thinks of you as being silent. But who knows? Stuff like this can be full of surprises. Like that fun little PR act during the panel. Even the tagline for the movie is going to be, "The movie ACME didn't want you to see." Again referencing when it was shelved for a while, until Ketchup Entertainment came to the rescue. Thanks to the modest success of the limited theatrical release of The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie.
And I thank you all for taking my word and going to see it. Heck, my plugging this on this YouTube channel seems to have been a pretty big help, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, in this day and age of influencers and social media, it can be a key part in getting the word out on a movie that's barely promoted. But maybe Ketchup Entertainment and Warner Bros. Pictures Animation will promote Coyote vs. ACME more. as in addition to Looney Tunes, it's got stars like Will Forte as Wile E's lawyer and John Cena as the ACME lawyer. And compared to the very expensive Space Jam: A New Legacy, Coyote vs. ACME only cost $70 million to make. So there is a good chance if it's promoted well enough, it can make its budget back in kind of a short time. Along with it so far not being scheduled up against any Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, Illumination, or Sony Pictures animation movies in that time frame. And unlike the initial release or The Day the Earth Blew Up, there aren't any Marvel movies close by to it. Even if Captain America Brave New World ended up being kind of a flop. And I don't see any live-action Disney remakes being really closely released to Coyote vs. ACME either. But anyways, with this Warner Bros. Discovery split and the release of Coyote vs. ACME happening next summer, and then that Hood David Zaslav leaving Warner Brothers a year and a half after that, things may finally look up for my Looney Tunes friends. Well, you should still stay tuned to this YouTube channel if any more information comes up. Hopefully more good stuff. I've also heard something about classic Looney Tunes coming to Tubi.